Out in Los Angeles, hanging out with candle celebrities and camera celebrities, just like the finest people in the country. He's not listening right now. He's hanging out with celebrities.
He's busy. But yeah, I think it's time for him to. He's due for a podcast, man. Let's test our sound here. Andy, what's up, brother? Here we are. I think we hear. Pretty low. There we go. The minus people, and he's still hey.
All right, we'll just go louder. I know I was trying to turn this down. I thought we were a little loud last week, but
I guess I need to turn down that. There we go. All right, good to go. Yeah, man, we're gonna get Jesse back in here. He's gonna do that live. We're gonna get that live studio band experience, the one-man band.
Studio synthesizers.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, studio synth man. Did you look at any of his stories of from the show?
I don't have the. I don't have the Instagram.
You're staying dry. That's good, man.
What's up, JJ?
JJ, Anthony's in the house. JJ's in the house. Anthony, it was a pleasant surprise to actually put the video to his voice, like watching him on there. Oh, okay, fan. Yeah, man. But yeah, I guess we can make the announcement. It looks like Frank from Long Island will not be joining us tonight.
Yeah, he had some stuff go down, so he's not going to make it, but that's okay.
We'll push it. We'll push it. There's always room to talk about gritty crops. I can't say gritty crops and crimes. Maybe if I say gritty crimes and cops. I think that's the way to go. But yeah, that's and it's a shame. He's going to plug it. He's going to be working. He's going to be shooting a movie here in Long Island. I think he said next month. What's up, Tubes? He's going to be shooting it next month, so I was looking forward to hearing about it. It's not weird beer. It's just normal water.
This show is brought to you by Normal Water.
Normal water.
Great for hydration. Great for drinking early in the morning or late at night, anytime.
Do we have a stinger for normal water like we do for weird beer? So it's okay, though. Like I said, we're still going to be talking about some of the topics we were talking about, but we also have a lot of breaking news that broke since last week. JJ in the house. I had a lot of firings and a lot of almost firings and a lot of scandals that has really
Scandals are big business right now.
Affecting the House of Mouse.
Yep.
But this one, hot off the presses, the firing of Ike. Ike's gone. Ike Perlmutter, is that how you say his name?
I have no idea.
Perlmutter. So he was the one that
Ike Perlmutter. Perlmutter.
Yeah, he's like 80, but he is the one that bartered that Marvel deal for Disney in the billions, and apparently he's been like
this one, Mark.
That's him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. What?
Oh wait, what's going on? I had no idea this was the photo. Okay, Hollywood Reporter's trolling over here.
Yeah. What is like? Whoa. It's like we don't talk about politics. But yeah, basically Disney laid off the guy it bought Marvel from, but that's a good thing. And talking to the Geek Commander on a way here, who broke the news for us, that he is the main reason that we did not get the crossover from Netflix earlier than now, when the Netflix shows were on there. So Ike had a different branch of the studio, different from Kevin Feige, that operated different for merchandise and the Netflix shows. And then so apparently he didn't want to pay, which I guess it would just be internal paying to get them to be part of MCU. So when
contracts are weird, people
like
money.
People like money, but when Wong was doing this in Endgame, he never opened up a portal to the streets of Hell's Kitchen to get those 5 heroes to fight Thanos. So that apparently was Ike's fault. But that was. Let me find the other different article that it actually gave the money of the rap. Let's see if the raps, because do you remember how much they bought Marvel for? Wasn't it at like $8 billion?
I mean, I have no idea, but I mean that sounds right. Didn't they buy Star Wars for like 4 or 5?
Yeah, Star Wars was 4. I feel like they bought Marvel for a lot more. I had all these pulled up, and I don't know, my website it all just went away.
By the way, I have a new studio upgrade that we have not used yet.
Oh, really?
Yep. I've got a wireless dongle now. That I'll throw it over there. You just connect your laptop there and it'll shoot it into the Incredible Tron 3000.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Studio it's up and to the right, man.
Yeah.
All right, here it is. So Perlmutter had he's 80 years old and he was still in the mix.
I mean, that's the age you want to be of the person who's running your comic book entertainment. Yeah. I see 80-year-olds reading comics all the time.
It sucks too, but Disney eliminated 7,000 jobs on Monday in an effort to save $5.5 billion in costs, making its streaming business profitable. $5.5 billion in layoffs.
These are the casualties of the streaming wars.
Yeah, you're right. Perlmutter, who outmaneuvered billionaire Carl Icahn for control of the comic book publisher in the late 90s, sold Marvel to Disney for $4 billion in 2009. Disney said at the time Perlmutter would...
$4 billion?
$4 billion,
What a bargain.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a huge bargain.
What a bargain.
Because, I mean, the $4 billion for Lucasfilms, you were buying Star Wars and maybe Indiana Jones, and then I guess you get Willow in there, too.
Willow comes free.
You hear they already canceled Willow. One and done.
How long did you expect the Willow show to last, honestly?
I didn't know he was even going to come back when we had Chelsea on here. I know she's a huge fan of Willow.
Willow was never intended to come back.
No, and it's not. But they're also canceling the Indiana Jones series, too.
This can be a spot because I have major anxiety about the next Indiana Jones because I'm still traumatized from Crystal Skull. That was not a pleasant experience for me. Indiana Jones is to me what Star Wars is to some people. To me that's the greatest trilogy of all time. And Crystal Skull, Indy. Indy's perfect. I'm like, in the Indy is almost like if people don't like it, I'm insulted. Lucha Lottie doesn't like Indiana Jones. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Really? Like any of them or the character?
Like she's never seen them and has no interest in seeing them. I was like, but it's about an archaeologist who has adventures and finds things. She has no interest. And I'm just like,
interesting.
That's ridiculous. Like I don't understand. I don't understand anybody who's not Indiana Jones. I don't get it.
No, I've heard people prefer Temple Raiders over Temple. Like you see that line drawn in the sand. Very few people pick Last Crusade as their favorite, and then obviously it's just Venom with Kingdom of Crystal Skulls. But you're worried about Dial of Destiny, even though it's an updated director who's kind of has a good track record. But
yeah, look, here's the things to be worried about. The secondary lead in that movie is Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and we have not seen one moment of her in any trailer or promo.
Yeah,
that's odd. What is going on there? Now, from what I've heard, my Hollywood sources that text me in the middle of the night have said Phoebe Waller-Bridge was supposed to be the next Indiana Jones. That was the original storyline.
And then it's going away because I heard.
Well, if the show's going away, there's no new Indiana Jones. That's what that says.
Oh, then it doesn't matter. All I heard was Harrison Ford got rid of a lot of the age jokes in Indiana Jones.
Yeah, which
is fine. That's cheap heat. That's like spitting. Come on, you can do better than that. You're gonna say you're old. That doesn't matter.
But he is really old, Jeff.
He's fantastic. Like I expect an award sweep next year for Shrinking.
You think so?
Oh yeah,
I'm about to reload my Apple TV so I can watch Ted Lasso. So I'll probably check out Shrinking as well.
You should. You'll blaze through it. It actually slowly.
Is it done?
It's done. Yeah, last week was the finale. 9 episodes, 30-minute episodes. I had no idea how much I was gonna like this, and I put it up there with like Ted Lasso now. Like really, 100%.
Apple is really good on their QC. They're making great stuff. Right now they're second to HBO as far as quality
awards. Wait, JJ, is that a hot take? Is that a real take? Crystal Skull is the GOAT! It's the GOAT! That's why it's the GOAT!
JJ, check your settings. I think you might have been hacked. I think your account might have been hacked.
Oh, man. But yeah, I'm definitely not a real take. But isn't it the director? So who's the director of
It's James Mangold, the director of Wolverine. Old Man Wolverine.
Let me put my glasses on. Don't mind me. All right, there it is. The untouchable superhero that is Old Man Wolverine. But he did. What else did he do?
He did 2 Wolverines,
and he did one of the Deadpools.
I think did he do Ray? I think he did Ray. The Ray Charles movie.
Oh, yep. Ford versus Ferrari, the Wolverine. Oh, he did 310 of Yuma?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah. He's no joke. So he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that will... but I don't know. Will he Ryan Johnson us? And I hate this take. Like, I totally get where everybody's coming from with their dislike of The Last Jedi in how it falls into the entire series. But like, if you look at it as just like a film, I think it would have been okay if they would have just left out a lot of they should have made that a Star Wars spinoff and just went in that direction. I don't think anyone would have had any heat.
Well, I mean, the thing is, the reason Last Jedi has so much heat, it had heat when it came out. That's fine.
Yeah.
But the answer was worse, which made it worse. Had Rise of Skywalker been better, The Last Jedi would have less heat. But now, it's the one that put it off track. For the most part, it's not a bad movie. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I disagree with some of the choices in it. I think the casino stuff was too long, but I do like Benicio del Toro in it.
Oh, yeah, and they just ditched him.
Yeah. So I think for the most part, it's good. And I thought the ending was good. The tease of, what was it? Servant peasant kids with the Force. That's great idea.
Anybody could
have the Force. That's a great idea. And everything, they overreacted to the heat it got so much, so poorly.
Yeah.
That Rise of Skywalker turned into a jumble of mess. Rise of Skywalker is that Will Smith A.I. eating spaghetti that I showed you earlier. Did you?
You got to play it.
Okay,
Play
yeah,
it.
let me see if I can pull it up. But I mean, Rise of Skywalker became this essentially. Did I close it? And that's why folks hate it so much. It's just they made it worse. They took a negative, made it worse. And Jeff, I mean, you're a professional wrestler, right?
Yep.
I mean, like, heat is good. Heat is good.
Sometimes, yeah.
Heat is good. You spin that into something positive, right?
You can, yeah. Red means green. If you bleed, you can make money. You know, if there's smoke, you got eyes. You just don't want them to do it.
So Rise of Skywalker essentially became. This is Rise of Skywalker. Essentially, this is what they turned it into. I don't know if you've seen this internet. Well, internet told me to watch it. It's Will Smith eating spaghetti as an AI.
That is terrifying.
But thank you. And here's the thing: you're talking about James Mangold, landing the plane there, right?
Yeah.
I just think about the logistics of this situation. Okay, he's in there. Do you think he's in there to do better than Steven Spielberg, or is he in there to do a job?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question. Yeah, I don't know, like if he's like Favreau's a huge Star Wars fan, and I feel like he is trying to live up to legacy. But if James Mangold is it a gig or it's a job? But listen to this filmography for Mangold. I love Copland.
Yeah,
Girl Interrupted.
Yeah.
Identity. Walk the Line. 310 to Yuma. I don't remember seeing Night and Day, but the Wolverine didn't get as much heat as Wolverine X-Men Origins, and then Logan was great, and then Ford versus Ferrari. I mean,
the Wolverine is pretty good. That's a good movie.
Yeah, I didn't think it was so. Yeah.
You have to have a stellar resume to do a job for Spielberg.
Yeah.
Okay, you can't bring in some local talent. It's got to be a name. And what I'm worried is going to happen to him now, or what he's gotten himself into, is where's JJ Abrams now?
Yeah, no kidding, man.
Where's JJ Abrams now? He was at the Hollywood darling for a while. He could do no wrong.
Yeah.
And we haven't heard a peep since Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, you better hurry up and get us another Cloverfield or something, bro.
Yeah. Do something. Bring back Lost.
Lost, dude,
Lost
I would literally pay $50 a month for a Lost redo.
Well, there you go. Tag him in this. Bring back Lost. That'll make some money.
Yeah.
Anyway, maybe he's not safe. Someone should check out where JJ Abrams is.
Nobody's safe, especially now. Job and cost cutting, because if Bob Iger, that's a pretty big cut. That's a pretty big cut. Is he going to cut Kathleen Kennedy? Is her job in danger now? Because the rumor is now for Star Wars Celebration coming up next month, they have to announce a movie. And they just had, speaking of Lost, Damon Lindelof walk off. He handed in the script. Days later, he's like, bye. He left.
Yeah, something is way wrong over there. I think Kathleen Kennedy is definitely on the list.
There's some pretty good fellow YouTubers out there that have some really interesting takes on what's going on with The Mandalorian and why something feels different. Like, even though, like, I'm liking the season. You know, there hasn't been, something feels off though. Something feels afoot. And we got to get Amanda back on here too. We'll have her back on here, or we'll talk to her about getting here for Star Wars Celebration. Something feels off. Like, it's not that it's bad, but something feels suspicious.
They've turned it into a TV show. It's like what we've said in the past. They've taken the movies and turned it into a TV show.
Yeah.
And that's why you were telling me it feels like Land of the Lost, because TV shows by their nature are formulaic.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you're following a pattern. It's not one long movie. It's a weekly adventure.
Right.
And that's what you've done to Star Wars. And Star Wars, it's meant to take place a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. But when we first saw it, it seemed futuristic.
Yes.
Now it seems retro.
It does. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It does feel retro now.
And I think like, this is just my opinion. I think that the 3 a.m. Tuesday drops is symptomatic of the whole pandy. That's what was going on, and that's why they did that, and that's why it worked. But now people got to go back to work on Tuesdays. Everyone's getting that letter. Mandatory in office Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, work from home, optional.
Anchor days and and we'll buy you lunch if you come to the office.
Exactly. So I think people are back.
Yeah, I'm exhausted from staying. I did
and
it again.
there's no 3 a.m. watch parties anymore. Folks just aren't doing it. Their day jobs are back, bro. Day jobs are back, but movies are back. And that's another thing. Movies are back, so people are saving their energy for Friday so they can go watch Cocaine Bear, Megan, Creed 3, whatever's dropping.
Yeah.
Just look at this month, and I had that coffee earlier. Just look at this month, dude. This month, Scream 3, Creed 3, no, Scream
6,
8,
yeah.
6, Scream 6, Creed 3, John Wick 4, and they all had, those franchises had their biggest openings, all of them.
Yeah. I told you that's why I went through my Alamo bill and I finally committed to the season pass because I was like, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon. So flipping back to the director gig really quick, like these directors, these darling directors, it's becoming a big risk to do a studio film like this for these properties. I think it was always the case for Star Wars, but now I feel like it's leaking over into Marvel too. Like it's becoming a big risk to do this because if you don't get it, if you don't have a complete handle on this, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Like you're in trouble.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of factors too, because it's like, honestly, in the past, Disney, Marvel, those folks, the people they've been booking, they started booking jobbers initially. I mean, it's true, right? They were booking jobbers or journeymen. They were booking journeymen, right? Yes. It's only till recently that they're trying to book name talent, right?
Yeah.
And it seems like that seems like a grasp for, some sort of like quality change or whatever. But yeah, you can get Disney, Marvel. That's a machine that sells candy.
Yeah.
And it's like your career can get swallowed up.
And here's the thing, though. Here's what I don't agree with. Like, I think there's room in Hollywood to do that, and still room in Hollywood to take a chance on some of these smaller, independent A24 type movies that come out of nowhere, and you don't spend a big budget. There's still a market for that. People still want to see this. People will still go to a theater and take a chance on a movie that's an original, that's not based on an IP, that's a book or a movie or a previous film. Now, the studio's giving a lot more money to those brands, but Everywhere, Everything, All at Once, to me, show that there's still a market for this. Some of the best horror movies we saw this year were based on stuff that we've never heard of before.
Yeah.
There's still a market for it. I think there's a way to do both. Remember, for a while, sequels were a dirty word, and they were never better than the original. And then the story you were quoting earlier is, let's add an S, and that S equals money. Right? That's when it started becoming different, that like these aliens, and then you realize that they were equal, sometimes better than the original in the 90s. And that started happening. And then it didn't become a dirty word. But like, I've never had any heat with these type of films. I just never understood why it has to be either or in an and both world. Why can't you do both?
I don't think it is either or, essentially. It's just, I think the folks who sign the checks would rather sign the big checks on a sure bet. You know what I mean? And that's what you do, because that's how you save your job. That's how you impress your boss. That's how you get promoted. Okay. So we've gotten away from trying to take chances on small movies, but I think we're entering, and another factor is we have streaming and Netflix, and the small movies just go straight there, which I'm really starting to hate. I'm really, really starting to hate that. Because I feel like I miss a lot of movies that go straight to streaming, because I'd go see them in the theater. Yeah. But yeah, I just think that we're entering a period where that's about to change, because we've been doing superhero movies for what, 20 years now? 12 years? I don't know. But we've done
2008 is when the birth of MCU.
We've done a lot. And let's say, okay, the romance period is over. They're going to have to figure out how to do this in a different way. But I really think the period when there was no movie theaters for about a year and a half has really affected people, and we will never take that for granted again. I'm one of those people, and movies are back, and people want more than just the roller coaster ride every Friday.
Yeah.
They want to go see a movie. They want to go to the movies and have it be an actual show, not just a teaser for the next movie.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I hate when they call it adult fare, but I mean, I guess for lack of a better term, even though clearly there's adults that are in on the IPs too. It's not just for kids, but the what felt like movie making in the 70s, right? There was no such thing. It was 1975. Favorite movie of all time. Jaws is what really gave birth to the summer blockbuster, and then turning into the IP. Even though it was big movies before that, right? Like, Godfather and stuff, but that was the one that changed it to make it feel like event films rather than just going to the movies.
Yeah, well, I think the thing that makes events films, honestly, is directors.
Yeah.
And I think we're entering a period where directors are going to matter again. You've got, like, the A24 folks are blowing up. The Blumhouse folks are blowing up.
Yeah.
Even though they're doing genre fare, bring back adult movies, JJ says. You have to go to the back room at your local video store.
Do the bring back adult movie, hit the sting. You got it. Wait, bring back adult movies. Where?
I don't have a hotkey for it. But, we're entering that period. I think directors are going to start to matter again. And I think streaming has put the kibosh on a lot of people from blowing up. You know what I mean? It used to be you did a hit movie at Sundance and then it went to the theaters and it didn't do great, but it made some money and people saw it. Now it just goes straight to Netflix or something, and it's just like it just disappears.
I was just listening. I don't know if this was another podcast or another YouTube show. It talked about the last year, the biggest selling movies at Sundance, how much they sold for. I never even heard of them. Even heard of them.
They all went direct to Amazon, and you saw half an ad for it, and that's what they become. That's what those indie films have become. And the thing is, I mean, on the bigger tier film festivals, like those movies they're indie only kind of, right? They have like funding, they've got people behind them, and they've got celebrities in them. You don't get that movie out of nowhere anymore.
Yeah.
But either way, you won't see it anyway because it just goes straight to a streaming channel, with no advertising, with no stories about it.
Honestly, dude, and I said this before, and I don't think anyone agreed with my take, but I'm going to reiterate here. I think reiterate. I think you think directors are important, and I agree. And I think the logo before the movie is becoming just as important too. And I think when the two you just named are two brands, and I look at them as brands, A24 and Blumhouse. I will give them 100% of my attention every time before the trailer rolls and I see that logo, and I would say 85% of the time I go to the movies to see it.
Yeah.
Every time, because I trust those two brands. And now knowing about them, right? Like Jason Blum, what is his, their directive is they never spend more than 20, right?
Not anymore. Now they have bigger movies. But, yeah.
But that used to be the thing, right?
Yeah, that's how they got over, yeah.
I think that's smart. I think they need to keep doing that. They need to do. Remember when Ice Cube was the shit? Because he was a sure thing. Give him 20, he'll bring you 40. He'll double your money, right? Like right out of the gate. He's not gonna. It maybe not gonna crack $100 million, but who's ever said no to doubling $20 million?
Yeah.
Why would you say no to that? Yeah. There's what happened to the studios having these arms that are just focused on these types of films?
Now they're just they're trying to do max bets. Like when you're at the slots in Vegas, and it's like you put a quarter in, and it's like, do you want to do max bet? And then all of a sudden that's 7 quarters. So everyone's trying to do that. So it's like, do we spend, $300 million to make 10 movies and see one of them hits, or do we spend $300 million to make one movie that we know will make at least $500 million?
Yeah,
but maybe not more than that. We don't know.
It's those big swings, and
it's like you'll get your money back, but it's like the safe bet. You're just betting 50-50.
How is the safe bet spending so much more money? But I get it. I see both sides of it. And JJ, that's a great question. Are streamers actively trying to hinder movie theaters? Who ever said that they were supposed to be friends and they should be helping each other? Right? Streamers want you to stay home.
They actively hate each other, from what I understand.
Yeah. Now streamers, I think they want you to stay home, but they don't necessarily. They just want to attach to your credit card. I don't think they necessarily care if you watch. There's nobody reminding me that, like, hey, you haven't logged into this account in a while. And you get those third-party apps where the movies are actively trying to get me to come there. Streamers, once they got you, they're done.
Well, that's why movies get the memberships now too. But that's a good deal. I have 2 of them.
Yeah.
I might add 3. I might get a Regal one.
Yeah, that one Regal closed down, but there's still a couple left.
I might go to the Regal. It's a Regal. It's not too far from here. It's like a 16 screen theater run by 2 12-year-olds. And like if you order a beer, they got to call somebody to come and unlock the beer tap. But like when it's an odd feeling. I think I went to see Dawn of the Dead in 3D.
Oh yeah, that was the Regal. Yep.
Yeah, I went to see Dawn of the Dead 3D there, and just walking through this abandoned Regal cinema where it's all gaudy and there's like it's got all the paint jobs and the light up movie poster marquees that everything's starting to fade and not all the light bulbs work. There's just something creepy about that I enjoy.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that weird smell. Maybe growing up, we
It just always kind of smells like mop water a little bit. Like not all of the trash bins are full of. They don't all have a bag in them.
No.
And it's just like
if it was outside, there would be bees near there, like you're at Six Flags.
Right. There's it would be bees.
Not the bees.
It's just I don't know. I don't know if I like seeing the ghost of old school movie theaters, but it's an okay. I saw Dawn of the Dead there. I saw Clerks there, and they were playing Terrifier 2 for a while, and I wanted to go see it there. I thought it'd be a perfect place to see.
Oh,
Terrifier
that would be
2.
good. What about the rumor? And I haven't heard anything for a while that Netflix was in the market to buy iPic.
I've not heard that at all.
Like there was a rumor that was floating around for a while that Netflix was in the market to buy a studio chain, so they have one arm that they can get into the theatrical business and then eventually go home, and that would have been perfect.
Well, I heard they were trying to buy an actual studio, like one of the studios that's a fledgling. Although right now everybody's making money. Paramount's doing really well. Universal's doing well. What's up, RJ?
I was gonna say RJ, that kind of he loves iPic. If Netflix buys iPic, then iPic will finally be the Netflix and chill spot. He loves those. He loves the 2-seat pods with that privacy. Yeah,
I've never been there. What if you can go to iPics and watch Netflix? That's not a bad deal.
Yeah, I feel like it would entice you to get a membership.
You sign in on the full screen.
Yeah, right. You just go there and open it up, and it's like if you have a Netflix membership, you can go see it in the theaters early as long as you're paying.
Yeah.
What do they care? Because like Alamo, they're probably going to find a way to make money other than the film. Just go buy food, drink, beers. That's what you want to do. Again, going back to making it an experience. But I would be curious if they did start to get into that market because they want. Has Netflix won an Oscar yet?
Yeah, they won for Roma.
Roma.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that was the whole thing. They were going for that prestige.
Yeah.
But they haven't really had what would be considered a quote-unquote hit, like a blockbuster film. They have blockbuster TV series, right? Stranger Things feels like a blockbuster movie, but 8 episodes of it. But have they ever had like 2-hour standalone film that's just like, wow, did you see that? It was great.
I mean, I think the best movie Netflix has ever made is Glass Onion. If that's the one, if anything, that's the one that feels more like a movie than anything they've ever made to me.
Right. I feel like that was their first going in this direction. You're right. Glass Onion was the first one, and that got like a 2-week theatrical run first, right? Didn't you see it in the theaters?
I did see it in the theaters.
Irishman is on Netflix, right? That was.
Here's the thing. I saw Irishman in the theaters, and it was bad in theaters. That was not a movie. Scorsese's still Scorsese, but Netflix does something to a filmmaker. They have a negative effect on a filmmaker. I'm just going to say it. Maybe Rian Johnson, found the secret sauce and understood how to deal with it. But for like, I think any director, any creative person, too much freedom is detrimental.
Yeah, I agree.
Too much freedom is not good. You have to have someone there saying, well, what about this? Giving you notes. Somebody making you be better, because it's very easy as a creative person to fall in love with your own ideas, you know?
Yeah. I always see that now. I used to not notice it before, but now I was like, oh, yep, he got really popular, and he has an editor that won't say no.
Yeah.
He doesn't have an editor that doesn't push back, and then
Right.
and that's what's happening. And then that's why we're getting these 2-hour movies, 2.5-hour movies.
Yeah.
Like I enjoyed John Wick 4, but it was just like, did it need to be almost 3 hours?
I
could have cut some
I saw, well, here, which part would you cut? Like,
of 50 bodies dropping.
I don't know.
Just
That's
where-
what you go for John Wick to see. No, I understand that. Like, I went to John Wick twice, and the first time I only stayed for 45 minutes. And I was like, I'm going to have to come back and watch the rest later because I'm kind of feeling I can't do 2 more hours. But it was wonderful. And then I went to the second viewing, and I fell asleep during the stair scene, but I woke back up after that, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. It is long. I think that everything worked. I never got tired of it.
I thought it was really good, and I thought it would have been phenomenal if it was short.
I think it probably would have been phenomenal shorter. They cut it down from 4 hours. So what are you going to do at that point?
Yeah,
it
that's
was initially
true.
4 hours. But I don't think there's any fat on it, and that's the thing. I don't really think that there's stuff to cut. I think it's John Wick. Here's going to be a controversial take, and they'll shut us down for this, but because of COVID-19, we got John Wick 4. It's like it turned what was going to be 2 cash grab movies into just one huge movie, and I think it's epic. It's special, you know.
Yeah, that was one of the movies that back in the day when they didn't do well in theaters, but they did well at home. I feel like John Wick did well at home, and then people wanted to see it more in theaters, and it just started to grow. Kind of like Put Some Respect on Murder Mystery's Name. That's on Netflix. And yeah, the sequel does drop this weekend, but
I think you should go see John Wick 4 again, Jeff. I know you like to see movies twice.
I do. I usually, I was going to see that one
This
twice.
time, go when you have a lot of time to sit there and watch it, and have a nice coffee before it or something like that.
Just throw a quick spoiler warning up here, because I'll tell you where I thought there was that was not necessary.
For the people at home. Okay, what part got to you?
It was the stairs scene.
Okay, well, that's when I fell asleep.
Yeah, and what was frustrating, so I had RJ was there too, but I had my son with me, and I literally felt it was channel changing heat, not the type of discharge they wanted, when he made it all the way to the top of the stairs, and then he fell all the way back down again. And just like, as someone who's fallen down the stairs multiple times at work, at wrestling, at home, and seeing those stairs, I was just like, that just felt like an L. And I understand why they did it. I think they could have found a way to maybe just do it like halfway, because then I was like, he spent all that time trying to get to the top of the stairs, and then he spent all this time falling back down the stairs, and then I was like, oh man, he's going to go back up the stairs again. It felt like channel changing heat.
Well, I mean, yes, I can see that, but also, man, the director really got you to react to that.
Yeah.
to that thing.
But I was just like I would have if I was at home, I would have paused it and got up. It would have took me out of them. I would have went and was like, okay, let me get a drink. Let me prepare for him to go back up the stairs again. And I'm saying this as someone who thought it was great. Like, I have no heat with the movies, the bulletproof suits, and like whatever. I mean, that's like you said, that's what we sign up for. But maybe he could have just went halfway up the stairs. But I get it that the whole thing was that Donnie Yen Young's character was there to like, let's go, we're going to get you up that stairs. That was the moment. Have you ever seen that video of, I completely lost where I was going with the video, but yeah, it was great that it's just like, we're going to help you get up the stairs. I liked that feeling. And I think I still would have got that feeling if somehow he couldn't make it up the stairs without help. Not, yeah, I can make it up the stairs. Oh no, I didn't make it. Well, now I'll help you and do it. Like if you should have found a way to like, we'll get you up those stairs. It should have just looked like completely daunting. And Donnie came out and said, "You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this thing and go home." So just like, I don't know. And that would have been what, 15 minutes? We could have got back. But again, it's what I do agree with you for is it is beautifully cinematic and it deserves theatrical viewings, not a viewing at home.
Yeah. I mean, from my perspective, I didn't think there was an ounce of fat in it. And it's just like, it's like in what is it, The Great Outdoors, that huge steak that John Candy eats?
Oh, yeah.
This is a huge steak that you have to eat as a challenge. And if you complete this steak, your meal is free. It's a delicious steak. It's well made, but it's whatever, 86 ounces of steak. But I think this thing is like, I thought it was better than John Wick 3. John Wick 3 felt long to me. You know?
Yeah.
This one did not feel long. They figured out the chemistry. Could it have been 2.5 hours and been super sweet? Or could this been 2 hours of nonstop? That would have been amazing.
2 would have been tough, but I think I think they could have landed between 2 and 2.5. Oh, that 3 hours that's a leap for any film.
It is a leap. But I can't help but give it props for its audacity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you did it.
Look at RRR. It's equally longer.
Yeah.
Equally bombastic and just insane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got other stuff. It's got more emotion. It's got dance numbers. But I just love folks out there taking big swings for the audacity of cinema.
And big bumps. And like RJ said, that scene gave birth to many beautiful memes and more memes to come.
Is there anybody better than Chad Zielinski right now?
No.
Who is a better action director than him? He's like the greatest American action director right now since like James Cameron. He's
100% agree.
James Cameron is probably right now. Yeah. He's like, oh, I'm about to be replaced.
I 100% agree. And I even feel that with like I mentally prepare to go in to see like Avatar knowing it's going to be long. And then James Cameron's like, don't worry, go to the bathroom. You're going to go back and see it again.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know, maybe again, there's always that first showing that I got to discharge the steam.
Yeah.
Let out some steam, Bennett.
I agree.
And maybe that second one I'll feel a little bit different because everything about it was beautiful. I'm excited about the Continental now that we actually got to see the Japanese Continental Hotel. So we're
Continental Osaka.
Oh man, so good. And again, Kane is one of my his presence on the screen alone, knowing how far he came, right, to get to this point that this felt like a super fight. Remember I was saying that last week before we went to see it. It feels like a super fight. It lived up to the hype. There's no way when you saw Kane, eating the noodles when he's like, aren't you going to do your job? And then when I didn't know this, did you know he was going to be blind going into this?
I had heard, yeah.
I had no idea. So when you saw him doing blind, and then he was like putting the, like the Ring doorbell notifiers there, like everything about him, give me a spin-off movie with Kane immediately. Like I would go tomorrow to see that, like without even hesitation. That character was so well done. And I even was okay with, we were talking about this, we're talking about spoilers, like where are they going to go with this series? And one of the ideas was we were going to do but they were going to do like The Legend of Billie Jean, but The Legend of John Wick. And we were going to follow some of these other hitmen. The new hitmen in there were really, really well done. The manager of the Continental Osaka, his daughter was great. The other one that I couldn't tell if he was hunting John Wick or not hunting John Wick, and he had the dog, but he felt more like a demolition expert. All these characters were it felt like a video game, and like you're trying to select all these awesome characters they were all very distinct.
And they all worked. I love Tracker. I love the Tracker, Mr. Nobody.
Yeah, Mr. Nobody. That was it, Mr. Nobody.
Here's the thing:
He was
is
great.
this? I thought it was clear, but I thought they were going to make the connection. But this is Halle Berry's son. It has to be.
Oh, that's a good take.
He has the dog, right? I mean, it has to be.
Oh,
this has to be
take.
related to Halle Berry. Did that not come across to you? I thought that was.
No, I did not. Until
I thought
you
that
just
was
said
getting. Okay, he was awesome, and like
Mr. Nobody, yeah, he was great.
I texted Lucciolotti in the middle of the movie because I said this. I had already created this character that whenever the apocalypse happened, I was going to be the lever gun guy.
Okay.
I would be a lever gun guy. I've got a great lever gun. But they put a lever gun guy in there, and he's got the revolver in there as well.
Oh yeah.
It was awesome, and I thought he was good. And he was
great.
He's like a great expansion of the Hitman universe because he's like a rogue hitman.
Yeah.
Trying to capture bounties, but while he's trying to capture him, he's trying to run him up before he collects. That's great.
That was so smart.
I
did not expect that at all.
There's so much going on in this movie. Scott Adkins is so good as.
Yes, that's right. He was great in there too.
Oh my God, he's doing Tom Cruise in that movie. This movie's so good. And the thing is, it sucks because yes, you can't help but get tired. It's too long. It's super long. It's extremely long, and it's a lot of action. It's mostly action.
Yeah. Well, you already solved the problem, but the rest of the world, other than Quentin Tarantino, has not come to terms with this. Just bring back an intermission, and we'll be totally fine.
Bring back an intermission.
We're adults.
We're adults.
We
can go out. We can go outside and check our phones.
Yeah.
We can make a call. We can go to the bathroom. We can go to McShooter's bar and get a
drink.
Oreo margarita. It's like.
I would buy sometimes I hesitate to buy a beer in a theater because I'm like, well, this is going to be a longer movie, and I don't like to get up during the movie unless it's an approved intermission.
Yeah,
if there was an intermission, I probably would buy more beverages.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. It's like this works for everybody. Now theaters are always trying to squeeze the movies in there and get the run times down to so they can run it more times. Because they get the
damn cut. You, Ari Gold.
Well, they get the cut of the tickets, but the theaters get the snacks. So we've got to find a happy medium. Give us an intermission, right? Had there been an intermission right after in John Wick, I think the perfect place is right when they decide they're going to have a duel, right before the church scene.
Yeah, that's a good spot.
I think that's a good spot to cut it. Go out, get a popcorn refill. Well, while you're at the popcorn refill, you're going to want to get some Swedish fish, or a hot dog. You know what I mean? Tell the folks at the stand, it's like, hey, we got half price nachos if you're watching John Wick right now,
right?
You know what I mean?
Come out during,
100%. Think you guys use your brains.
Yeah. I thought you liked money.
I thought you liked money. We said we liked money,
dude. One of my favorite Alamo Drafthouse experiences in town was going to see. I found a showing of The Hateful Eight, the 70 millimeter with the overture and the intermission, and it was Sunday at 8 a.m. and it was fantastic. It was so good.
I love morning movies.
Oh man, it's just like they had a breakfast menu. The intermission came up. He was playing the Western music. You got up. You're stretching.
Get a coffee.
Yeah, you're making the eye contact with the other solo film goers. Then they're like, "Oh yeah, pretty. Like I'm digging it." And they stopped it at just the right spot. And then when you sat down, it's been so long since I've been to a movie with an intermission because I was a little kid.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what happens now? Do they just turn the lights off and then the movie starts going? And then QT is just like, he explains everything that he brings you back into the moment.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. And I think there's tons of movies. RRR would be a perfect movie. Like if it was in a theater, you find the cutoff spot. There's the intermission.
Yeah. Right before the sniper scene.
Yeah. They could 100% do that. Avatar could have been rewarded with some intermissions too. Yeah. But again, maybe it's just because I just don't like to get up. But
because you don't want to miss part of the movie.
I don't want to miss a second. I'm Steven Tyler. I don't want to miss a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So even if it is Armageddon. But yeah, it was good. I know we kind of splintered off into, I guess
this is what people tune in to listen to.
This was our John Wick review. Were you okay with the end? Like we already put the spoiler warning up.
I thought the ending was great.
Yeah.
I love.
Were you surprised?
I was surprised.
Yeah.
I was surprised. You know why? To kill him in the movie is a very I like money though move. You know what I mean? Kill the character. I appreciate that. So what if he's dead? He can come back. You don't have to tease us with he's coming back. You know what I mean? You don't have to put that in there so folks, I don't know, they're going to start saving money to buy ticket to the next movie. It's like, I love that he died. That's great.
Yeah.
That's a great way. It's a great way to end a movie series. But the thing is, he'll be back.
You think he'll be back as like just John Wick 5, or do you think they're going to start putting their toe into like expanding the universe to I thought this is what they were doing. They were doing the 80s wrestler in a territory. Okay, let's take this character. He works. He's had 4 movies. Let's put him on the shelf for a little while. Go leave town, go to another territory, go rediscover yourself. But we're going to keep it going with, they announced the Continental, right? And then the Ballerina. So they have 2 other properties coming. Now, the Continental, I'm really looking forward to. I'm a little nervous that it's on Peacock. I don't know.
Peacock's got good shows.
But I mean, do they pull their punches? Like,
no. They don't need to.
You think it'll be as action-packed and John Wick like, or do you think it'll be TV light?
Well, it just depends on what they're budgeting it as.
Yeah.
You know, what they're going to spend. Here's what's great. Look, how many times have people died in pro wrestling and come back?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's not a thing, but it's just, this is why I'm very enthusiastic about movies coming forward, because like, that's just a great thing to just do for the audience, to just kill the main character. Give us a true ending. Okay?
Yeah.
We don't need to have something thrown in that tells us, but maybe not. You know what I mean? We don't need that.
Yeah.
You can just end the movie like that, and then when he comes back, we'll be like, "What? I thought he was dead." You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
we don't need a tease anymore. That's what I think Marvel is suffering. We don't want teases. We want conclusions.
But remember, they did in Infinity War, there was no tease.
Exactly.
Thanos took a sigh of relief. He won.
Yeah.
The credits roll, and that was a big swing. And that swing paid off.
And it paid off huge.
It paid off
like
big.
I can't remember ever being more enthused for a Marvel movie other than Endgame. So I think it's really good, man. I think that's just a positive way to just end a movie. Let him die. And then,
So you didn't want Winston talking at the Bowery talking at the gravesite. Like, I don't even feel like that was. I feel like that was a soft hint at best.
They didn't hint at anything, honestly.
No, right? Because they were just like, is he in heaven or is he in hell? And they're like, who knows? And then he's like, goodbye, my son. And then people are like, what was he? Is his dad? I mean, I liked it like that's as close as they can to rolling up and just seeing the tombstone and then the credits roll. That would have been a pretty big punch.
Well, I mean, and here's the thing. This is smart booking because you're getting your name out of there so the folks you want to put over can do some stuff and get people interested. If you don't get him out of there, people are going to be waiting for John Wick to come back.
Yeah.
You got to get him out.
Yeah.
Let him go on break. He's going to go hang out with his wife in the Bahamas. Eventually, he'll come back somehow. There's no way he's not coming back somehow, but you don't have to tease it right now.
Well, we know the somehow, and I'm gonna let you pivot into this because Anthony just brought it up, and I'm gonna let you do your take that we talked about. The next John Wick is that Matrix crossover.
John Wick's Matrix crossover?
Yeah. Didn't you pitch me that?
Oh, well, I was just saying that if I'm WB right now, Warner Brothers, I would be pulling a dump truck full of money up to Chad Stahelski's house and being like, could you do us a Matrix movie, please? We would really like a new one that's good. And we heard you're friends with Keanu. Maybe do one more.
Also, just another Matrix movie, not necessarily a John Wick crossover.
Oh, I don't know about it. No, I don't know about a crossover.
No, you don't think that could be a modal inside the Matrix where he plays a hitman? And Morpheus is a Boweryman.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I mean, I bet Zelensky could get Morpheus back. I mean, he's got great relationships with both of them.
Yeah.
I just think it's an easy call.
Kill his virtual dog in the Matrix. I love this. Yeah, I just love that this is giving birth to fruitful ideas like this of like where else can we place this director now?
He's got an open. I mean, he can pretty much do whatever he wants right now.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he had only done the John Wick movies. I thought he had done other stuff.
That's all he did.
Yeah.
And wasn't it? Wait, I thought he was the stuntman in the Matrix. Didn't he?
Yeah, he was Keanu's stunt double. I mean, that's
Wow.
He's Once Upon a Time in he's Keanu's Cliff Booth.
Is that what you say? You carry his bags?
Yeah, sounds about right. Like he also was he started off doing like early 90s, late 80s kind of straight to video. He was in Bloodsport 2.
Oh, he wasn't.
Did you know there was a part 2?
No, I didn't know. Oh, I think I remember part 2, but I did not know.
He was doing that kind of stuff back in the day, back in the video era.
Wait, was he not the director of that trailer that rolled before that film that you were talking the French?
No, he's not the director.
He's not that
No.
that sang of like this is him doing that.
No, it's like that's like
What's the name of that film?
I don't. It's 21 North or 25 North. The stunt team that started basically a movie production company, and they've been doing stuff. They did Violent Night and Nobody, and
Oh, that's right. It's the same.
yeah,
Yeah, because they did do Violent Night. I can't think of the name of that film now. It's slipping my mind.
Sisu.
Sisu. That was
Yeah.
it. Man, that looked crazy good.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. That's a good way to utilize your stunt team.
Yeah. So I don't know. Do you know anything about the ballerina?
I don't really know much about it. Not really, not at all.
No.
It's just John Wick Universe. They keep teasing ballerinas in all the John Wick movies. Not sure of the where they fit, but I assume it's some sort of Black Widow gimmick.
That makes sense. What I do think is too soon for them to do is young John Wick, like they were hinting of. Like I think young Winston is fine, right? Because he's clearly Ian McShane. He's at advanced age, even though he looks phenomenal. But you would like to see where he came from. I think it's way too early to do a young John Wick.
No, you can't. You can't do John. You can't do young John.
No, I think it's too because
You can't replace Keanu.
No, I if you want to sneak him in like as a cameo, but in the Continental, but I'd rather see where the world came from and establish more rules outside of the John Wick section of the world before you figure out how John Wick got brought into that world.
Yeah.
Because the one thing you can't say this director didn't do is you can't say he didn't evolve. Think about the first John Wick versus the fourth John Wick and how completely different they are.
I mean, he used all 4 movies to develop his style. And I can't wait to see what he does
and
next.
he just went up and up and up. And we did a spot on here a month or so ago where we were talking about like the biggest movies that are video games that they don't know they're video games. This is hands down a video game, like 100%.
Well, now that you're talking about it, let's talk about all the references in John Wick. There's a lot of references in this movie. Chad Stahelski, I think, has taken this time to develop his style. I think this is people want to think this is a controversial take, but I don't care. I think Chad Stahelski is now the Yen Wu Ping of the U.S. because he's a shoot martial artist. Okay. Yeah. And what he brings to all these movies is that shoot martial arts skill. And he can choreograph these things in a way that other action directors just can't do. Like what other American action director is there that could do anything on this level?
I don't think they can.
I said James Cameron, I think, is the last great one. So you've got there was a lot of stuff. There was you saw the Warriors, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. You saw the Warriors.
Yeah,
they had the meme, the Arthur meme where he makes a fist.
Yes, that's right.
That was in there. You had the overhead 8-bit game.
Yep.
Look. Right?
Yeah.
And that's just 3 that I can think of. I know there's more.
Yeah, there was a bunch. I needed to go back and watch the Easter egg video on that. But yeah, the Warriors, that was like just a straight up like redo of the scene. I mean, they had the Lin Thin Pig, and they had the instead of a radio station for gang members, a radio station for hitmen that were just kind of broadcasting out there. That was cool. Think about this with Chad Stahelski. He made these 4 pretty epic movies in 9 years.
Yeah.
It takes studios 4 years just to figure out a direction they want to go. Like, oh yeah, that's going to come in, that's coming in 2032. It'll be, we already blocked the date. And this dude's like, no, I'm going to make 4 movies in the time that you're going to just be planning one.
I love it. Yes, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's give directors money to make movies. Let's not just... We've been in an era for the last 10, 15 years of just like, we can only make things out of board games and books and radio dramas and whatever, old TV shows and reboots, and that's it. Let directors make original content again.
Yeah.
Let's go backwards.
Going back to your roots is never a bad thing. Especially you need a little bit of a foundation when everything's and the world's been shaking for, especially the entertainment world has been shaking for a few years.
It is a great year for movies. 20 years from now, people will look back at 2023 the way they look at 1999 or 1982.
Yeah.
It's like there's so much stuff coming out this year, and there's stuff flying under the radar that we're not seeing that is going to be awesome. You know what I mean? Wes Anderson has a new movie this year.
Oh yeah, I did. I actually just saw a picture of that today for the first time.
There's movies are back, man. Movies are back, and I think it's going to be a great year for movies. We're only 3 months in, and it's already been huge.
Yeah, and remember when it used to be somewhat like January after Christmas? January was the movie dumping ground. It was the wasteland before, and it would go for a little while. And everyone was just kind of waiting till May. We had like a summer blockbuster slate
Already.
Since like January, since Megan dropped.
Yeah.
I feel like the slow period for films was the Christmas period where there's always a ton of movies.
Yeah.
I feel like there used to be like 5 movies that would drop on Christmas. And now this year, all we got was like Babylon. And then everybody had to take a shower and nobody went back to the movies after that again.
I still want to see that.
But then Megan came out, and then like we've been on our roller coaster ride and since then, and it's not going to stop.
People want to have a good time at the movies again.
I mean,
we missed it.
Air. I mean, now you got Mario Brothers dropping. Air's coming, like sneak preview.
That one.
You're skipping Air?
No, I'm skipping Mario Brothers.
Oh man, I don't know, man.
You going to Mario Brothers?
Yeah, I think we're gonna go to Mario Brothers.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo one will always be my Mario Brothers. Even though it has nothing to do with the game.
Yes.
Makes absolutely no sense. And I think they were drunk the whole time.
That's what made it good. Respect. No, that is, you got to put some respect on that movie.
I still haven't watched that director's cut, but I'd like to see it.
Yeah, I would definitely like to see that. I'm really shocked you haven't seen Babylon yet.
I don't know where to watch it. Where is it now?
I don't know. I feel like they're hiding it. Like
I feel like it would be on HBO or something.
It was like in theaters, and then it slowly like disappeared, and then somebody made a joke about it at the Oscars, and then that's the last I heard of it.
Yeah, I would like to watch it. Where is it? I mean, I'll watch it.
To me, Brad Pitt, he just didn't pick bad movies, so it's kind of like, and I can't fault his performance though. This had nothing to do with his performance. He did what he could with it, but I was really surprised again. Maybe I was unfairly comparing it to like, oh, this is going to be like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but the silent era going into the speaking movie errors.
Yeah.
And nah.
I gotta watch it. I'm very curious.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to your take on it, because there's stuff in there. Like I said, I enjoyed myself for a good chunk of it. And there's another one. It's like, who was that editor? Did they use like an AI to edit that? Because I don't think
which one?
In Babylon.
I have no idea.
Maybe that could have been a great movie with a great editor. How many movies could be great with a great editor?
I don't know. I mean, an editor is very important to the movie, but I think we're entering an era of long movies.
Yeah,
I think we're things are changing. You know what I mean? I'm all for long theater experience. I'm okay with it. I got no heat with it. It's all right. I think that I have a hard time staying awake sometimes these days, but I got no heat with long movies.
Yeah.
Again,
it's for me, it's time. Like you're finding these windows of opportunity to go. Like I used to go to a lot of last showings, and now you can't do it anymore because like I can't get out of here at 2:00 in the morning. Yeah, it's like it's not doable. Like you said, you got to go to work. Yeah. But speaking of the movies, we got some tickets to Miami Connection. But so we want to take a quick break. But before we go, we'll just leave it to people in chat. See if you can guess how many cop movies has Sylvester Stallone been in where he played a cop? Think about it, and we'll be right back.
I bet you think my favorite bubbly is champagne. Well, surprise. What I really love is Sun Country Wine Cooler. It's a truly marvelous blend of real fruit juice and premium wine. As a matter of fact, it's the best tasting cooler I've ever had. So when they asked me to talk about Sun Country, naturally I accepted. Sun Country, say, gimme the real juice cooler. They told me I'd be working in fur, but this is ridiculous.
Wang announces the most important step in managing information since the computer, WangNet. WangNet is the electronic connection that gives anyone in your office any kind of information they need instantly by linking together every conceivable kind of office equipment, no matter who makes it. WangNet links you to floors below or satellites above, using just half its capacity, leaving room, of course, for Wang's next breakthrough in office automation.
I am here to make a pitch for Sun Country Peach. Why me? Because I'm crazy about the taste of peach. And Sun Country Wine Cooler is the most refreshing blend of premium wine and real peach juice I ever pitched. It has such a great taste. It's how you say it? Peachy, peachy. Sun Country. Say, give me the real juice cooler. You know, I don't mind doing cuchi in a bear suit, but it's so itchy. Caramba, me está matando tantas hormigas dentro de los pantalones.
Let's buy our small computer from the giant computer company. You can't beat Goliath.
No. Right, David?
Sir, let's go with Wang. Nobody makes a better small computer or word processor. They're giant killers.
It happened before. It can happen again, because nobody's hungrier than Wang.
He's right.
I used to be frightened by all the wine coolers I saw. I was scared I wouldn't pick the right one. Luckily, I did. It was the most refreshing one of them all, Sun Country Wine Cooler. You see, Sun Country is a blend of premium white wine and real fruit juice. That's what gives it its great taste. Sun Country, say, give me the real juice cooler. If you don't say Sun Country, you'd better sleep with your lights on.
All over the world, Wang is a leader in office technology. Word processing, data processing, and now with our new electronic mail system, you can send all kinds of information from one part of the world to another. So New York can be around the corner from Paris, London from Tokyo, and San Francisco next to Rome. Wang, making the world more productive by bringing it closer together.
All right, we back. So I'm going to answer that trivia question here after two quick spots. One we were going to talk about, one I just found out and remembered I wanted to ask you about it. You heard the news that April 21st, The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs is coming back.
For season 5?
Season 5. There's some heat going on there because it's going to be broken into 2 parts.
What's the heat with that?
I don't know. I thought it was great because now you found a way to like extend it out rather than get it all and then you got to wait for a whole other year.
Yeah, well,
I feel like for his type of show, if you can break it up like that and give us more, I'm 100% okay 100%, with that.
100%, yeah. I mean, Joe Bob used to be on every week, so maybe people are just
and it was
not
great,
adjusted.
And it was a great interview listening to him. I was just like coming from like, look, the type of show we did back then we can't do anymore, so it's not possible. Like, he didn't even know that he'd be able to do what he's doing now. So I'm super excited about that.
It's not like
April
Joe Bob is
21st.
an ongoing story.
Right.
It's not like you need a full season of it to enjoy it. It's just specials watching movies.
So I got no heat with breaking that in half at all. And hopefully they haven't announced, but we are looking. I think it's going to be in California, dude. I think his third annual drive-in film festival, I think, is going to be Cali this year.
Fine, I'll go.
Because, right, they went from Pennsylvania to Oklahoma, right?
Something.
No.
I'm not sure. I got the
Memphis.
shirt.
No, Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah, and now I feel like because he said he's trying to hit every part of the country. So I think it's going to be LA. So, and Mike's talking about, Mike B talking about becoming Hollywood Hulk Hogan. He might be relocating out there. And I'm like, don't threaten us with a good time, dude, because now we got to go there, hit the New Beverly. There's plenty of spots we still got to hit for the fun stuff in Hollywood. But
I want to go to every place that lights up in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in that ending montage when they get back to LA and all the restaurants are lighting up. I want to go to all those.
Dude, that would be great. I am all for that trek for sure.
I want to go to Casa Vega really bad.
Yeah. What is that? What about the Mexican joint?
That's Casa Vega.
That is Casa Vega.
The one where they get drunk at the very end?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm 100% got to do
I can't find what I did with it, but I would show it. I just bought that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood Blu-ray.
Oh, yeah.
Just
you
'cause
do
it-
yeah, the metal case. You just had it in your hand.
Just because it has additional scenes, and I want to see these additional scenes.
7 additional scenes.
Anyway.
But yeah, we're gonna get it into JJ's. Yeah, JJ's got 4 of them: Cobra, Demolition Man, Copland, and most importantly, Judge Dredd.
That's true.
That is 4. I can't do fast math, but you got 8 more. 9 more. 9 more. I think it was 13 or 12 we found. So RJ said, let's get drunk and headbutt kangaroos.
Sidebar, this just to tie this up. Did you see that clip of Darcy Prince in Entourage?
No.
She's got a spot on Entourage. Real quick spot, trying on shoes, and Ari Gold kind of looks over and checks her out as he's walking by.
Oh, really? No, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I'm a huge mark for Entourage. If that comes on, it just pulls me in.
Yeah.
And that was I liked the film too. I know a lot of people had heat.
Film
with
was
it.
fine. It was just a long episode. It's okay.
I don't know why people had heat with that. But speaking of people having heat, before we get into our Stallone spot, man, what a difference a week makes. We were just singing the praises of Jonathan Majors, and then he decides to, or allegedly, I guess we don't know the truth yet. We do not know the truth.
We don't know the truth. We don't know what
He's definitely, there's allegations of abuse, choking what has been identified as his girlfriend. But the bigger takeaway from that, right, is unfortunately we hear a lot about domestic disputes, and that becomes a he said, she said. But what made this one different, there's a lot of his former directors started coming out and talking about how abusive he was. And I was just like, oh, no, you freaking celebrities. Yeah. You're ruining our entertainment by doing weird shit.
Well, I mean,
stop.
The latest I heard before we went on the air was that apparently Marvel might be thinking about replacing him.
Yeah.
Like the Army dumped him. He did a advertising campaign for the Army.
Yeah.
And they went ahead and dropped the campaign.
Look, I hope it's not true. I 100% hope it's not true. But when you have as much money on the line as a lot of these brands do, man, can they risk it? Like, look at everything that we went through for the past couple of years with Ezra Miller and The Flash.
Yeah.
And they're still going to find a way to drop that movie and get it out there. But I think it's going to be a one and done. He can be the best part of that movie, and I don't think they're going to touch him with a 10-foot pole after that.
Right.
And even though he said he's getting help, and I say that coming from a world that the man who gave birth to the MCU, Robert Downey Jr., right, with all his struggles and stuff. I'm not saying people can't change and turn around and forgive him, but I don't know, just that when you're getting into like kidnapping and violence, it's hard to come back from that because do you really change? I don't know. And it's like I'm not a doctor, and I don't even play one on TV, so I have no idea. But you're looking at it as, again, we're not going to talk about that because it is serious, so we don't want to make light of, domestic abuse like that. So we're just going to talk about the angle of how this affects films. I think RJ says, I can change, you can change, we can all change. And ironically, he was so good in Creed. He's a phenomenal actor.
Yeah.
He's a phenomenal
he's great.
actor.
And he's right now he's on a huge upswing.
Yeah.
But again, we don't know what's going to happen with that. But like, and we can't make any kind of assumptions. But the thing is like, what happens to Marvel if they've got to replace him?
It's tough. I mean, well, I guess they are lucky that in the sense that it's a character who they've already established variants, right? He has multiple variants of himself. And in Loki season 1, they establish variants that don't even look like Sylvie, right? Is a variant of Loki, and they're different genders. There's alligator Loki. You can even be a different species. So canonically, they have a way out if they wanted to explain it like this is just a variant. Option B is what the option I thought they were going to do with like the Ezra Miller type stuff is you can put the money towards some deep fake and you can make a character almost look like that person, but not necessarily. But then you make it look like anime. Because did you really notice, like, when you look at Thanos, do you say, yeah, Josh Brolin?
No, but you hear it in the voice.
Yeah. The voice isn't, but as we see now with Will Smith eating weird spaghetti, anything's possible these days. You can.
I'm not sure that proves that. I'm not sure that is evidence of anything being possible.
I don't know what they're going to do. But I think they're going to sit tight and wait. The issue they have is, the bigger issue is the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars leading up to that. That's going to be the bigger money on the issue. The most immediate issue is Loki 2 is coming out pretty soon.
Yeah.
And he's a pretty big part of that.
Yeah.
He's a really big part of that. What do they do? Like, do they delay it? Do they push it? We don't, because they haven't even announced the date yet. Yeah, they can use a younger version of him, JJ said, and that's very possible too, because he's technically a descendant of Jim from The Office, right? Reed Richards. Mm-hmm. I mean, so they can, comic book wise, they can do that. I just don't know. Obviously, everything's already has to be shot and done in Loki. Like, that's got to be a Flash thing that there's no way they can redo that.
Don't know.
A variant of a variant of a variant.
Don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to say what their choices would even be. I mean, if you look at Warner Brothers, I mean, Ezra Miller started a cult or something. Like, he did a whole lot of stuff, and they're still sticking with him. So maybe once you've spent $300 million on something, you gotta just roll with it.
Yeah, no choice. I mean, and I'm gonna go. I try to disassociate. Chris Rock, if you watched his stuff on his special on Netflix, I finally got it watching the whole thing. But he's just like, you can be really selective with a lot of the things that singers are accused of, depending on how good their music is. So, but music is a little different because that's a little bit more of a personal choice, and that almost is a representation of what that musician is as a person. But like for an actor, isn't this just he's an actor doing his job? You know, it's not like he came up with Kang.
Right.
You know, Ezra Miller, the Flash was been around and will be around long past them. They just happen to be the person that was in there. We see actors drop out of. How long was Timothy Dalton a James Bond?
2 movies.
Yeah, right. And what was the one that was after Sean Connery but before Roger Moore? Right. Then they have a stuntman for His Majesty's Secret Service. There was one.
I forgot his name.
George Lazenby.
George Lazenby. Yeah, that's right.
He was just one. So I mean, it's not unheard of for people to drop out of it. Like, do people really still talk about George Clooney as Batman, other than kind of joking around about his nipples?
He might be back, I heard.
Yeah, I think it would be. I have no heat with that coming back. So, But yeah, Ezra was a really bad boy. But Ezra is supposedly getting help, is what they're telling everybody, that he has some mental health issues and he's getting help.
Well, good.
Yeah, the Batman money is too strong. So, but let's get to our spot. I don't want to keep him hanging any longer. If anyone else wants to throw any more quick bets in the chat of how many times Sylvester Stallone played a cop and or police officer. So JJ had named a couple like rattled top off that he had, and they were all correct. But there's way more than we ever expected. We were gonna do Frank from Long Island. We were gonna talk about gritty cop movies, and then it just got me thinking. Yeah, Anthony, it's more. I'd say you're warm, but we're not there yet. 5 to 10, there's more. So, okay, no more suspense. The correct answer is, and we're counting TV too. We should have reiterated with that. 13 and a half times Sylvester Stallone has played a cop and or police officer.
You can list them all for us.
13 and a half times. Yes.
I know Cobra is one.
Cobra is one. Okay, here's the list. I'm going to read it in no particular order. He played, JJ got some of them ready. He played a cop in Copland. He played a cop in Demolition Man. He played a cop in Tango and Cash. He played a cop in Nighthawks. He played a cop in Judge Dredd. He played a cop in ICU. He played a cop in Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. I can't read this other one.
While you're fixing glasses,
Yeah.
do you know how Stallone ended up doing Stop or My Mom Will Shoot? Did you know that was all because of a prank from Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No.
Arnold Schwarzenegger got sent the script first and had his agents or his PR people put out a story that he wanted to do Cop or My Mom Will Shoot, possibly, was considering it. And Stallone's people heard that and decided to scoop up the script, and he ended up doing it. And that's how we got that classic, Estelle Getty classic.
When multimillionaires prank each other,
we all lose.
Yes. All right. So yeah, he played a cop in ICU. He played a cop in Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. Yeah. How did you forget that, JJ? He played a cop in Bullet to the Head. He played a cop in, what's this one called? Oh, where'd it go? Reach Me?
Is that, like I said, Stallone had a straight-to-video
Yeah,
phase,
it's called
so.
Reach Me. Then he played a cop in Cobra, which we talked about. He played a cop in a film called Backtrace. Then the half is he almost played a cop in Beverly Hills Cop. He turned down the role of Axel Foley. Mario reminded us before the show that he thought it had too much comedy in it. So, and then he played a cop, Detective Rick Daley, in Kojak Bang Bang.
Stallone is, I think, well, I mean, most big actors are known for turning down big roles. I guess if you're in that world,
Yes.
you're going to turn down some stuff or miss out on some stuff. He turned down Tarantino twice.
Which sucks because I would love to see him in a
Tarantino
movie.
wanted him for Butch in Pulp Fiction.
Oh, that's right.
He was the first choice, and then he wanted him for Stuntman Mike in Death Proof.
Oh, I didn't know.
When is Stallone going to be in a Tarantino? You got one more shot.
This has to be it. He has to get him in. Man, that would be great. And then the final time Sylvester Stallone played a cop was actually his first time he played a cop, was in, ironically, Police Story. He played a police officer called Elmo Rocky Cato.
Is this Jackie Chan's Police Story?
No, it's the show.
Oh.
Yeah, the show.
The one with Leslie Nielsen?
That's Police Squad.
Oh, okay.
which gave birth to a great set of films that we all still love to this day, Naked Gun. But I remember watching Police Squad on TV when that first dropped, and I was just so happy. It's like Airplane. Really good. So, but let's go over some of the cop movies. Very simmered and vulnerable version of a cop rather than the Cobra that we all knew. And
he gained like 40 pounds for that role.
He gained 40 pounds. He was very subdued. He was the one that almost felt like he could get bullied. Like he felt like he was, usually he feels like the threat. He's the disease. you're the disease, he's the cure.
Yeah.
But in this one, he felt like the mafia easily could take him out. And then he even gave himself a handicap, right? He gave himself a hearing problem. That was such a great movie.
Isn't he like have a broken nose for half the movie?
Yeah. Yeah, he did. And I don't know if that was a shoot and they just wrote it into there. But yeah, obviously that was really, to me, that was like one of my favorite iterations of Sylvester Stallone as a cop. And I know saying that is entrenching on some pretty serious ground when we just covered Cobra not too long ago.
Well, no, it makes sense. I mean, that's the trajectory of any kind of thing like that. You do the cop, then you do the deconstruction of the character you've played in the past.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like exactly that's the route he was going. JJ looks like he's a big fan because when he said, most importantly, I am the law, Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
He's,
that movie would have been over if he'd have kept his mask on.
oh, I remember you saying that.
That
right?
was kind of the issue with if he had not taken off his mask, it would have been way over. But
that was a comic book movie that was 90s, right?
Yeah.
Was that 90s? What are your feelings on Tango and Cash?
Well,
I
have a complicated relationship with that movie.
Wait, say that straight so I can use that later.
I have a complicated relationship with Tango and Cash. I think it's a good movie. I like pretty much everything about it. I just feel like Stallone and Kurt Russell together was too much.
It's too much 80s.
Had it been one of them and then someone else, in the other part, it would have been perfect. But it was almost just like, this is like, the way we have Brad Pitt and DiCaprio and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood together.
Yep.
But that worked because that was, I don't know, it was different. This is almost just too much 80s star power that they detract from each other. It's two suns next to each other and it's too bright. So you could have taken out Kurt Russell or Stallone, replaced them with whoever else was, doing stuff at the time. I think it would have been a better movie, but the fact that they're together sort of makes it an icon.
Yeah.
But I think it's too much. I think it's too bright. And I think there's too much. They're both sort of like over in the movie. No one is sort of taking the abuse and no one is sort of like the brunt of the joke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the biggest difference in that movie...
It's like you're eating a Snickers and a Baby Ruth at the same time. You know what I mean? You're taking bites. You're just holding them together in one hand and you're just taking 2 bites. And it's like, this is good in theory.
That's perfect. And that 100% makes that analogy makes sense. I feel that. It's too, like JJ said, that's too OP. The only thing that was the big change was Stallone. They were both kind of gritty, and Stallone decided to be the clean-cut Stallone.
Right. He cast against type. But Kurt Russell is not cast against type. He just feels like what Kurt Russell would play.
He played like, it felt like Jack Burton.
Exactly.
If Jack Burton was in that cop movie.
Yeah.
I have a good relationship. Well, I have good memories of that just because later on.
The truck at the end is awesome.
Yeah.
What a great gimmick. I love that.
Yeah, that was really good. I love Bobby Zadar obviously being in there.
Bobby Zadar,
yeah. Well, I would like to think he'd be a friend of the show. Like we'd be able to have him on. Like we used to talk on the phone for hours, and it's really weird for me to like even think that how did this time period for 2 years of my life that I became phone friends with Maniac Cop. It's just so weird to think that even like that feels like, did that really happen?
Yeah.
So, but having him in there, because he used to be a Chippendale dancer.
Really?
Yeah. He told me all about that story, and then if you look around, you find some pictures like that. He's a handsome bastard, man.
Yeah.
And then he became Maniac Cop. But anyway, yeah, that's the good part of Tango and Cash. What about? I think obviously it goes without saying we both love Nighthawks. I mean, seeing Stallone, 70s Stallone with the hair and the glasses, Rutger Hauer, the dancing. Who didn't, friend of the show, Blake, we were going to set that music to that scene in there, right? I mean, that was really good.
Yeah.
That felt like 70s. That gives me the same feeling of Stallone and Nighthawks that I get thinking of Travolta and Blowout.
Yeah.
It was just like, this is when they were in the craft. They weren't characters. They were like, okay, and now I'm an actor, and now I'm going to do this role.
Yeah.
So that was always the best part of that. What about Demolition Man? What are your feelings on Demolition Man?
I think Demolition Man is one of the greatest films ever
right.
made by humans. And it only gets better. That's a classic that ages like a fine wine. It's so good. The satire has become even more spot on. It's great. It's great.
I think we might have to. I was thinking about maybe I take it for a spin in the new car because it definitely feels like it has that autopilot.
Does it give me a ticket every time I curse?
Yeah, exactly.
You got the 3 shells in there?
I was gonna say, does anyone ever see 3 shells and not think of that scene? Have they ever figured out, has Mythbusters or anything ever figured out what the deal is behind the 3 shells?
I don't. They'd get arrested. You can't show that stuff.
Oh, man. Obviously, I don't think we need to go over Cobra. We did a whole Christmas special on how much we loved Cobra.
We'll just say, Cobra, please give us the director's cut.
Yes. Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
I would take that. What about the ICU? I'm gonna pull that up while you're thinking. Do you remember ICU?
No, Stallone had a little bit of a straight-to-video phase.
He did.
In between his comebacks. So that was one of those. I don't.
Oh, they rebranded it Detox.
Right. There you go.
I didn't.
So if you go to Redbox, it's called Detox.
Yeah. A lead detective being stalked by a serial killer is asked to check into a clinic treating law enforcement officials who can't face their jobs. I thought maybe he was playing a blind gimmick or something. Oh no, was he protecting somebody who was doing a blind gimmick?
I actually never saw it, but I remember the box cover.
It's Charles S. Dutton in that. Chris Christopherson's in that. All right. To check that out. And Tom Berenger, Jeffrey Wright, Stephen Lang. It's a pretty thick cast.
Yeah.
Robert Patrick. All right. That's a 2002 though. He was doing a straight to DVD phase when streaming was still in its infancy, right? Still very much.
Yeah, I mean that's pre-streaming, honestly.
I think Netflix was still sending discs in the mail at that time.
Yeah.
What about Reach Me? Do you know anything about Reach Me, Stallone?
No, I think that's another straight-to-video era one.
Let's see. 2014. American drama directed by John Hurt. The film stars Stallone, Keira Sedgwick, Terry Crews, Thomas Jane is in this as well. A plot revolves around how self-help book inspires a diverse group of people. Journalist, editor, former inmate, hip-hop mogul, actor, and undercover cop. Oh, so
50 Cent?
Is he in that? Nelly. Nelly's in that. Terry Crews, Danny Trejo, Danny Aiello playing maybe that's what we should have did. How many times has Danny Aiello played a priest? Here's one, if you're counting it home.
I mean, he's always playing a priest or a restaurant owner.
Yes. Every time you look at him, who doesn't say, "Should we get pizza tonight?"
Yeah,
we probably should get pizza.
He looks like pizza. I mean, he looks like he makes you want pizza.
He does for sure. But yeah, and Kojak and Police Story. That's when he was still kind of breaking into Hollywood, so it was a little bit different. But yeah, that's a pretty. You always buy him as a cop. And we're not even counting that times that he played soldiers, obviously, or Ravengers,
or boxers,
or
boxers. PTSD Vietnam vets.
I'm really curious why he said no to Quentin Tarantino, but not no to Marvel. Like James Gunn convinced him where Tarantino couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, I think Stallone is an auteur. He likes to have creative control.
He is, yeah.
I think probably in Marvel there's room for him to have creative control of his character, but Tarantino's not going to give you creative control of your character.
No.
It's like, you read it the way I wrote it, and that's all, and that's it, and that's all that's going to happen. Stallone.
Does he ever give the actors just like what do they call those? A tornado take? Well, no, the tornado take is when you just blow the take on purpose, right? And you just do everything pretty wild. But does he ever give them like just one for them to just let them stretch their chops? I don't think so.
I don't think Tarantino does takes. Mm-mm. He does do it the way I want to do it, and that's it.
Yeah, and I love that when he said he's like, I didn't, work so hard to become a director, so I'd be off in like Video Village. Like a lot of times he says he's like right in their face.
Yeah.
Like that's got to be pretty intense.
Yeah, he gets in there. If someone's getting choked in the movie, he does the choking.
He usually is. Oh man! All right, so real quick, we should do this. Let's of these properties, what would you put as your top 3?
Stallone properties?
No, just these cop ones that we just went over.
Stallone cop movies.
Yeah, Stallone cop top 3 Stallone cop movies.
Number 1, 100% Demolition Man. I think that one gets better and better with age. Cobra, obviously, is just a fan favorite and a classic. Should be revisited on a regular basis. Number 3, that's just kind of a wild card. I'm not sure.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's really tough.
I would say probably Tango and Cash just because it's one of the more well-known ones. But again, you've got to take Kurt Russell out of there first for it to be, over.
Yeah, fair. I think I would go with. I think I have to put Nighthawks at the top.
Nighthawks, yes.
Yeah, I think I got to put Nighthawks up there at the top. Then you're right. I would say probably that, Copland, and then that tied for third for me is going to be Cobra, Demolition Man, tie for sure. And I hate cutting out Judge Dredd like that. And I even have a soft spot for Stop or My Mime or Shoot. Or unlike the hard spot that you have for Rhinestone.
Yeah.
So JJ would go Demolition Man, Cobra, Judge Dredd. So you're seeing a pattern here of like what's hovering at the top.
FY, Stallone's been in 83 movies.
83 movies. What a career, man.
83 movies or TV shows.
Yeah, so if you're keeping track at home, I think we're creeping up at 1.7 million views on TikTok for our Rocky, Mario's machete cut of Rocky. But it really just got me thinking and just like engaging with a lot of people that are posting in there that the Rocky series alone has given him a hit movie in 6 different decades. 6 different decades. That's unreal to think that you're that relevant like that. Mm-hmm. Like, how do you even, like, it's something you can't even plan. Like, the closest he came to, like, falling off and it not being a hit was 5, right? Rocky 5. Like, I think a lot of people went for the nostalgia, and they all went. But it was still, even though it's not, remembered fondly, I think at the time there was a lot of buzz, and people just felt a little let down that there wasn't a boxing match. But, I mean, just still, 6 decades, like, that's unreal. That's like lifetimes for people. That's like double lifetimes for some people. And that's just the Rocky series. I think he's probably got to be he's got to be up there with like as one of the most well-known, I don't want to say greatest actor because this has nothing to do with like how good he is at his trade.
Biggest stars
of all time, for sure, right?
Without a doubt, yeah. Without a doubt.
He has to be that he's still, and now he's doing it again, bro. Like you love his new show.
Tulsa King, yeah.
Tulsa King is
now
great.
He's becoming a TV star.
Yeah.
It's time.
And it's working.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch. I mean, I know I'm definitely gonna watch. I just haven't started watching yet.
You'll like it.
But yeah, I'm excited about it, man, for sure. So that's good, man. You wanna go catch a movie?
Yeah, let's go watch Miami Connection.
We're gonna go watch about Miami Connection. This is Weird Wednesday, so we're gonna be heading to the Alamo Draft House to check that out. So we do apologize for Frank from Long Island. We had this Stallone spot we were gonna do. We were gonna do the Police Academy spot too. We'll still do that. Do that next time. That way you can really dig deep, because that is going to be the next Mario Machete cut. If you want a spoiler, it's going to be how to properly consume Police Academy. So how do you want to, when you think of Stallone as a cop, what's the line that comes to your head? This is a toss-up. This is a tie.
It's gotta be crime is a disease.
And he's the cure.
I'm the cure.
Not I am the law.
Oh, they're all good.
All right, let's just say whatever one we think is the best at the same time, and then we'll just end. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I am the law. Oh, no. Rico.
All right.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. Peace out.
Peace out. Long logo, but that's okay.